Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again. It has been over a month. I am sorry. I'm so sorry. But as you see, the environment's changed. I'm in my new home, and I can't be more excited. There's not a whole lot back here yet because I haven't unpacked everything, so just enjoy my amp while you can. I know, no guitars on the stand. It's tragic. But hey, today I wanted to show you guys how I learned how to play Supercross on MX bikes. And just to preface this, I wanted to say that not everybody is going to learn the same way. So I'm going to show you kind of the way that I learned how, but that does not mean that you're going to learn the same way. So I just kind of wanted to start with that just to tell you that if this method isn't the one that is for you, that's okay. That's just how I kind of personally learned, and I wanted to share that. And I'll be back with some more Behind the Bars series and all the good stuff. Again, we're still settling into the new home, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, here we are. I wanted to just start out real quick. I won't spend too much time on this track, but this is Pacific Supercross. This track is the absolute best track to check out if you're just starting Supercross. And the reason that I say that is because, honestly, the jumps are easy. They're not too crazy, and this isn't like your typical really hard Supercross track. So what I'm going to do is just spin a couple of laps around here and explain some things on how I learned how to play Supercross. Firstly, as you see, going over the whoops. Honestly, to learn whoops for me was just slowly but surely taking my time, working my way up to them, and I'll tell you that every single track has a different set of whoops. Not two tracks are going to be the same when it comes to whoop sections and even jumps. So just know that going into it, that not necessarily every single Supercross track is going to have the same type of jumps. And I think that's kind of the joy of it. I think it's really cool when you can see a game that has a lot of diversity when it comes to the tracks, specifically Supercross. We've seen a lot of diversity in the motocross scene on this game, but I'll tell you that Supercross is very much in the same. As far as downsides, as far as, you know, kind of how the dirt layout is and how the structure is as far as how it breaks down and everything. I'll tell you this track specifically does not get too rough. As you can see in these corners, I have already been spinning some laps on this. I've spun quite a few, but I'll tell you before I even stepped foot and tried legit on a real Supercross track, instead of kind of like this motocross Supercross hybrid, I spent a lot of time learning how to do what I'm doing right now, which I didn't really do it well on that one, but downsiding. Downsiding will absolutely be your best friend when it comes to Supercross, and this is the best track to try that on. Purposely underjump some things. Purposely show yourself that, you know, hey, if I downside this stuff perfectly, you know, how is it going to feel if I do that as opposed to overjumping it or underjumping it, things like that. So really practice your downsiding, just like right there. I could downside that as good as I could, and it gave me that corner speed that I needed to get to the next section. And it's also keen whenever there is a whoop section right after a jump. Downsiding that jump before it is pretty much needed. You have to do it if you want to hit that whoop section just perfectly. As you can see there, I didn't quite downside the last one going into that kind of triple, and that led to having to give it a little bit more gas as I was coming up to the face of the jump. Again, it's all about the throttle control, all about the consistency of downsiding each and every jump perfectly, and that's going to lead to a better and easier ride when it comes to Supercross. So, once you get good enough, downsiding, things like that, you can learn how to adjust, and that's the joy of it. But at first, what I would really, really try to do is work on perfectly downsiding things, work on not overjumping things, work on trying to get those rhythms down. And trust me, it is going to be hard. That's another huge thing that you need to know. Let me just stop real quick to tell you this. One of the very huge things that you got to know about Supercross on MX bikes is you're going to get frustrated. You're going to hate it. You're going to want to quit. So do that. Quit for a little bit. Take a break, but come right back to it and grind on a track like this. The reason I talk about this track is because this track alone is really where I got my firm foundation for riding Supercross. And later on in this video, what I want to do is just go to some legit Supercross tracks, maybe just one, maybe we'll check out two. But just to kind of show you how far I've come with being able to ride Supercross just on practicing on tracks like this, the easier tracks, and how it led me to being able to getting more advanced. For example, right here, I can now triple out of this. I probably could quad. Didn't really do it great, so that's not a great example. But anyways, learning your rhythms is also another big big thing when it comes to Supercross, and being able to set yourself apart from other people when it comes to multiplayer lobbies, being able to get those harder rhythms down. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is putting in time. Once again, you're going to have to learn how to play Supercross and learn that it's going to take you some time in knowing how to hit each and every one of these rhythms. And, again, just put in the time, put in the effort, and it will kind of just come to you. I didn't want to make this a behind the bars episode just because, this is about Supercross, but I will spin a couple of laps around here just to show you kind of how fun this track can be. I'll tell you, this is still one of my favorite tracks because it's just fun, it's flowy, and you can just honestly waste hours on a track like this. When these tracks are made so perfectly and so good, it's just so easy to be like, okay, I'm gonna stay here for like 4 or 5 hours and just spin some laps. And honestly, don't be like me and be a goon like that. But honestly, that is 100% the way to learn Supercross. That's how you do it. You just spend the time and grind it out. Honestly, that's all I can say is grinding it out is going to be your best friend in Supercross. So don't think that you suck, because you don't. It's just going to take time. The reason that some of these guys on this game are so good is because they have just taken the time to grind it out. So, instead of, if you have a few hours to play MX bikes, instead of going to that motocross track, come to a track like this. Come to Pacific SX, or even challenge yourself and go to the legit Supercross tracks. And, kill yourself a little bit on it. Honestly, just really try to harm your rider on these deals. Honestly, take the time to put in the effort to get these things done. So I'm going to shut up here a little bit and just kind of do a couple laps for you to show you. See if I can actually triple this one correctly this time. All right, not bad. That was a better one this time. But as you can see, again, just hitting those rhythms down and doing different ones is so much fun when you start learning Supercross. Like, man, I didn't even realize that line was there. I really like this track. Even though I'm riding more advanced Supercross tracks now, this one still is one of my favorites. And the reason that I say that is just the flow of it and how fun it is, and the environment alone. This feels like a fun place to be. So, there's something to be said about a track that has that good environment. I've said it in every single one of my other videos when it comes to MX bikes. Environment on a track is huge. So I like when I can go to a track and feel like I'm actually there, or feel like I'm getting away, being able to be at a track by myself. Not safe to be at a track by yourself riding, but you get what I'm saying. Anyways, it's just fun to kind of get away and ride. Honestly, this is something that I can say calms me during kind of craziness in the world that we're having right now. So I hope that you can feel the same too, like I do on these games. Okay, so I guess I should just stop playing this track right now because I am not doing great. We're going to go to a legit Supercross track, or a full-fledged Supercross track. Not that this one isn't legit, just to kind of show you just by riding where I've gotten. All right, here we are. This is Glendale 2019. You'll see by my tracks that I have rode this track a bunch, and I like this track a lot because it's fun, it's flowy, it's not too hard, but it is a legit Supercross track. That's what you're here for, is Supercross, of course. So, anyways, I'll show you kind of how far I've been able to get just by riding those more amateur tracks and putting in the time that I've put in to be able to get where I'm at. So, honestly, when you get to a level like this, it feels good. It really does. So, honestly, if you're just starting out on MX bikes, I wouldn't start with Supercross. Start with your basic, motocross tracks, the ones that are pre-installed on here, because you'll end up like that. No, but for real, honestly, start with your basic motocross tracks. Nothing too hard, because you're probably going to want to quit immediately. Don't jump into Supercross first things first. That is not what you want to do, because you're going to end up really frustrating yourself, and honestly, it's really the incorrect way to play the game if you ask me. So, getting to this is not hard. Getting to be able to ride Supercross is not a hard thing. You just have to take the time. You have to take the time, put in the effort, and it will. I've said it so much this video already. You will firmly progress in MX bikes when riding Supercross if you just grind on it. You just have to know that taking the time to do it is absolutely the key on how to ride in this game completely, whether it's even motocross even. You just have to put in the time. You're not going to get anywhere if you don't, you can't expect results immediately, especially on a game that is a simulator that isn't an arcade game. If you're looking for a game that you're going to get pretty much immediate results on, or maybe even just putting in, a couple of hours on, then you need to go back to, the milestone games. Nothing against them, but to each their own, but they're arcade games, It's not going to be like this where it's going to frustrate you a bunch, and it still frustrates me, when trying to learn more advanced things. I didn't warm up today on this track, as you can see, so just give me a minute. And still, I will still struggle just a little bit when it comes to Supercross. I can't just jump right in. So if we're on an online lobby or anything, I absolutely have to have, time to practice. You're going to have to give me 2 to 3 laps to get out there, and I probably should have practiced before I came in with the track on video. But it's fine. You'll see that even pros need practice. I just call myself a pro, but I'm definitely not. Anyway, needless to say, you'll see that as I keep going, it's going to get better and better because of the practice. You absolutely have to warm up. Sometimes in Supercross, you can't just jump right into it unless you've probably rode laps and laps and laps and laps and laps, and you're just perfect. So when going from one track to another, it's kind of tough, but that's the challenge, isn't it? I mean, it's absolutely the challenge. I really like the flow of this track, kind of combining some track reviews along with how I learned how to, ride Supercross in this video, but that's okay. I will say that these track creators are so good at what they do. They absolutely are just killing it. I don't know how, I don't even know how to begin how to make a track on MX bikes at all. It's complicated. I tried to learn MX Sim, and boy, was that complicated. So if it's anything like that, there is no chance in the world that I would know how to make a track on MX bikes. So I'd like to learn, I'd like to try, and maybe someday I can make a video on it like I'm making a video on it now, just with teaching you how to make tracks on MX bikes, but I don't know if it requires some software or whatever. But anyways, back to it. I'm going to take some different rhythms here just to show you kind of the joy of Supercross. That obviously didn't work. I was going to try to, you can triple this section and double out, which is really nice. So you can take that inside like I have been doing and, take it that way, whereas you triple right out of this section instead of having to double out of it. So just again, Supercross is awesome because it's your own personal preference when you get sections that have diversity in them. I think that's super sick, honestly. So, that's one key thing to Supercross. What you're going to want to do is hit one line for a long time. And I guess this would be more would be more towards if you're starting to get more advanced into it. Let's say that you've ridden a bunch of that Pacific SX track and you're ready to move on to something bigger. My kind of, advice for you is to figure out one line on the track completely. Figure out the one line that works best for you, and then what you got to do is just grind that one line. And when you figure out that one line, move to the next one. Challenge yourself a little bit, but specifically grind on one singular line and perfect it. Make yourself feel good, just to show yourself how far you've come. Because I'll tell you that even still to this day, I have my on days and my off days when it comes to Supercross. Today I feel like I'm having a pretty off day, but I'm still going to make this video to show you that's what happens. So I would say another key thing to learning how to ride in this game, whether it be Supercross or motocross, is join somebody's stream. Join somebody's lobby, even if they aren't streaming, whatever. I'll tell you that community feedback and riding with people just to show you, it'll kind of, if you're feeling good, it may dumb you down to a level that you're like, man, I don't, I hate that I'm not at those guys' level, but that will kind of show you where you can get to. It will kind of show you where you're at. And even more importantly, it'll allow you to interact with people. I think that's what's awesome about MX Bikes is that there is a community on it, and it's so easy to play with people. Whereas, MX Sim, nothing against it, but it was really hard to get people into a lobby. You literally had to have a private server. And honestly, that's not ideal. Having a private server is hard. People have to download external applications for that. Whereas with MX Bikes, all you need is just the tracks and the game. That's literally it. So I think that's awesome about MX Bikes. And I'll tell you, as time goes on, I think I'm going to make a second review again on this game, kind of the review 2.0 with beta 15 now out. I'll tell you that it's absolutely evolving and changing this game, and for the better. I can tell you that I played this game briefly when it first came out, and it was nowhere near where it is today, and that is so awesome. This game is going to be the motocross game whenever they fully release it out of beta. And I know that's going to come soon. I mean, we're on beta 15. I can't imagine how many more betas there's going to be. And I don't know the development updates or the schedule or anything like that. But, man, I'll tell you, this game is awesome. And one of the things that makes it so awesome is the fact that we can go from motocross to supercross and have that kind of skill gap. It's really awesome. And when you learn to ride both, it feels so good. It feels so awesome to be able to sit here right now, make a video for you, showing you that, honestly, even a month ago when I made my last video, I was nowhere near this level. I was just starting to get into Supercross. And look how far I've come. I'm able to ride a Supercross track, honestly, consistently in a way. You know, I know that I'm falling down, but it was a lot different. If I would have tried to have made a video where showing you how Supercross works on this game a month ago, it would have been just fall fest completely. There would have been no rhythms at all. And I'm still learning. You know, this is still something that this video is as much for me as it is for you guys. So I'm glad you all joined me today, and I'm glad that this is something that can be beneficial for you. So what I want to kind of do is just get off of the face cam here, spin a couple of laps for you while I still have you around, just to kind of wrap up the video. But anyways, thank you for joining me today in this video, just to kind of show you how I learned how to learn Supercross on MX bikes. Again, it's not going to be the same for everybody. But anyways, kind of enjoyed just me riding a few laps, maybe 2 or 3, and we'll wrap up the video. But anyways, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. Leave a like on the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time.